All right. See a few more people trickling in here, so thank you for your patience. I think we'll go ahead and get started. And just note that this presentation will be recorded, so you can watch this later on. We end up putting all this stuff on YouTube afterwards, so that it's on our on-demand content library. So you should be able to get to it there. Hope to send you a link as a follow-up to this, so that you can watch that if you're looking to review some of it. So again, today, thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Townsend with Bamboo Solutions, managing consultant here at the company. I've been here in pretty much every capacity possible. That's what the way these businesses kind of go, right? When you're not a giant company. So you get to fill all the shoes. And so over the span of my career, for the longest part of it anyways, I was doing a lot of SharePoint consulting for customers on site and things like that. And so here today, I'm going to walk through a product that we've developed. We've actually converted this product, Visual Indicator Column, from a server on-premises solution. And we've converted that into a JavaScript-based solution so that it works in SharePoint Online and SharePoint on-premises. And so today we hope to take a real quick look at what Visual Indicator Column provides you as a user of the system, and maybe as a site owner or a page content creator that wants to add that functionality to a list view to give you some visualizations of status and progress. So we're going to talk about that today. We are using GoToWebinar, so if you've got questions and you want to ask those here, you can. There's a question and answers system built in, so feel free to do that. I'll try to monitor that as we go along. And there's also a little bit of a chat, so if you're familiar with GoToWebinar, please do, by all means, utilize all of its functionality, and we'll try to participate here with you. So going to be a quick webinar, Visual Indicator Column, not a whole lot of content to it. So we're going to get through this, going to make it quick, and we'll get back to work today. It's Thursday, we're almost made it to Friday, so let's do this. So let's go ahead and get started here. I think you guys can see my screen here, so here we go. So a little bit about Bamboo. If you don't know who Bamboo is, we've been around for a while. Been, I think, coming up on a couple of decades. We have been providing products to extend SharePoint capabilities and functionality for quite some time, ranging all the way from full-on product applications like Project Management Central to knowledge management solutions, all the way down to very simple web parts to extend little things like adding visual indicators to maybe a list of data and things like that. And so Bamboo is a Microsoft Gold partner. We've been working with Microsoft since the beginning to ensure that we're doing things the right way. We're delivering products in line with the vision of SharePoint development methodologies and things like that. And so having had that credibility in the industry and working alongside Microsoft, we've had a whole lot of great customers that we've supported on the product side. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about just briefly today, I kind of do this at the beginning of every webinar here recently because a lot of people don't know about our services division at Bamboo, and they kind of think of us as a product company only, and that's just not the case anymore. So what we found was that our services team, which didn't get a lot of attention in the past, was a necessary thing. And so we do provide all the services you can imagine on a SharePoint platform, whether that's SharePoint Online or on-prem, to help assist with products that we sell, to help configure, support, and things like that, but as well just to do out-of-the-box SharePoint things. And so we're going to have a few slides here in just a moment to kind of dig into that and just talk about those things briefly. So having said that, we've supported many great customers over time, 8,000 of them or plus, something like that, right? Just a whole bunch of people everywhere. Here's a good look at some of the big names that we're proud to have supported and have a good working relationship with. So yeah, we do that. Okay, make sure everything's going well here. I think I'm in the green still. So about services, just a few slides real quick. We do 3 categories of services that I just want people to understand about Bamboo. Product services, SharePoint services, and package services. Product services, pretty self-explanatory there. We do anything related to our products. And maybe it doesn't even relate to our products. Maybe you want a product custom built for you and your organization. We can do that too. So anything around those, solution deployment, design and configuration, one-on-one, building your own custom, like I said, and training on those as well. Then in SharePoint services, a lot of people need some help with SharePoint farms. They're looking for support, but maybe there's so much red tape within the organization, they have a hard time going out and finding the support they need to get things fixed and running smoothly. So we provide anything, generic SharePoint services, ranging the gamut here from migration support, all the way down to UX and UI support, everything you can imagine. Package services. So what we've noticed after having done those first two categories of services is that there's sort of a common theme across the services that we end up providing customers. And one of those things is around the health of their farm. So SharePoint health checks, SQL health checks, just to come in, help you troubleshoot. We've got great scripts that run health status checking and communication checking against your network and everything else to make sure that things are talking right, running right, have the right permissions, etc. So we have two package services around that to come in and quickly identify those pain points in your particular environment, and then to give you a remediation plan for what it would take to fix that. And then you can use that to do it yourself or have us do it with you. So then the next theme that we've noticed is the discovery for cloud migration. So big push, obviously, to get off on-premises versions of SharePoint and move up to the cloud. So built a package around that, preset price to do that. Come in, look at all the things they're going to have a hard time moving, tell you how we're going to move that and what the plan is, that kind of stuff. And then last but not least, the SharePoint Expert Program, my SharePoint Expert Program. So this is our attempt to really simplify the process for you as companies to get expert assistance with SharePoint. What we see is that whether it be government agencies, whether it be just commercial entities, companies have vendors they can use, approved vendor lists, things like that. We may already be on there. We are GSA approved and all those great, those check boxes that we have to sign to or check off to be made available to more customer base. Anyways, my SharePoint Expert Program is wrapped around you just sending an email to our support email address. And if we can answer that in 15 minutes or less, no charge. We'll just give you the answer. Hopefully you're on your way and you've got a solution to your problem. If not, and we see that it could take a little bit extra to resolve the issue or to understand your issue, then we'll finish that 15-minute call and say, hey, look, I think we need about another hour to really dig into this, and I need these kinds of things from you to really understand it. And if we want to, we can proceed together and at an hourly rate. So $165 an hour is our price for services like that. And then we can just continue to move forward from there. So we can end up with a statement of work that clearly defines what it is we want to do with you. We think it's going to take 10 hours, etc. So anyways, my SharePoint Expert Program really wrapped around trying to get you help with the least amount of, things in the way to get that done. Okay, so down to our content today. So visual indicator columns. Again, very brief product here, so could be like 10 minutes of walking through this thing, but let's see where we go. So visual indicator column, cloud part, right? Like I said before at the beginning of the webinar here, this is a conversion from one of our on-premises web parts. And the web part on-prem did, in essence, the very same thing, but now we've rewritten it in JavaScript. It's wrapped in the SharePoint Framework Solution package, so now that we can deploy that in the modern deployment methodology to whether that's SharePoint Online or even your SharePoint on-prem. And this can be installed in both SharePoint 2013, 2016, 2019, and SharePoint Online. So we got all those bases covered. We don't support anything older than 2013 currently, so if you're there, let us know. Maybe we can come up with a solution for you, but we are kind of 2013 and newer at this point. So visual indicator column, its whole purpose is to quickly add to your list views, your list or library views, I believe, a little visual indicator to show either the progress of something, whether that's like 0 to 100, and then where that falls within a little visual icon, or a status indicator based on color and things like that. So you're going to see some screenshots here in just a second, and then we'll go look at a site that's got it installed and configure that. So real quick, this is what configuration looks like. We've got, let's see here. Yeah, the image is here on the right side, new column settings. So the Bamboo visual indicator column, if you look at that screenshot, you can see that we're going to give a column name. We're going to point to a target list where we want this column to be injected. And then we're going to choose the type of column that we're going to add. And it's going to be a percent bar or a color indicator. The target column is where we're going to get the data from that we want to plot visually. So we're going to go target list. Let's go to our task list, which is what we're going to do today. And then we're going to go look at the specific column that's got a value in there that we're going to visualize. And then if you choose percent bar, it knows to ask you, what color do you want the percent bar to be? Do you want it to match your corporate branding? Probably. So you've got a whole list of color codes that are preset there, or you can even define a custom hexadecimal code. All right. And then once that's done, it'll actually spit out the hexadecimal code right here in this field. So then to modify a column that's already been configured in your site collection or your list or wherever that's using Visual Indicator, you can click the Modify Column tab, which is up here across the top of this. And that's just going to pre-populate, when you select a list, all of the ones that you've already configured for that list. And you can come back in and change the settings for those. So that's just a real quick look at config. So the view looks something like this, and this is what you're going to see when we go to the live site. So standard modern SharePoint list here. I've got 2 columns behind the scenes that have my tracking percentages and numbers and things like that that I'm referencing. For instance, progress. We have a column behind the scenes called progress percent, I think I called it. And it's a 0 to 100 type of field, and it's a number field that is allowed to be a 0 to 100. And I also specified that it's a percentage type of column on that column. So then my visual indicator configuration, I pointed to that to reference as its source of information, and then it plots it visually like this, right? So that's really the whole point behind visual indicators, to look at some content within your list and then present it visually in one of these 2 ways. The status column is a choice column. So I said, use visual indicator, and I want you to go look at this choice column, and I want to color code the choices individually like this. So in progress, I marked as a cyan or a light blue color. The awaiting someone else, I decided to be purple, and completed as teal. So let's go look at it real quick. Okay, so what I've done is I've installed the product onto my site collection here. I got a whole good documentation site on how to do all of that. So we've made it available here to our customers or our users of the system. And now when they go to edit a modern page, they have the option to insert a web part of visual indicator column type. And when you do that, you're going to get this little web part here, as I've kind of defined in the screenshots previously. So we're going to go over to new column here. So if we wanted to add a new column, we could. I just added the 2 columns today for this demo, so I'm not going to add another one right now, but you would just give the column a name. So for instance, in the example here, I created one called progress, and I also created one called status, right? And if I'm going to do the progress version one, we'll just kind of type through this as we talk through it. I can go find any of my list data. So any lists within this site collection I can go look at. I had one called task list. And so I select task list, and I want a percent bar to be visualized in my list data. And then I'm able to go in that task list, and I'm going to go find a column that has the number field that I would like to visualize using a progress or a percent bar. And I can choose that. So I've got one field in my entire list here for the task list that is of number type. Therefore, it only returned that option. So I could select that, and then I would choose a color to make that progress bar. And when I do that, you'll notice that it gives me the hexadecimal code there. Now I've already configured that, so I'll go over to modify column just to show you what that's like. So if I hit task list here and I go down, you'll notice that we've got two visual indicator configurations in the task list currently. I've got that progress one and the status one. So if I want to modify the progress one that I was just talking about, you'll notice it's a percent bar, as we'd expect. We can change the color for the percent bar and update it. So if maybe we wanted to change the color scheme, or maybe we wanted to change the target column, I don't have any additional ones to change to, so that's not going to happen. There's no options there to select from. But if I had other number fields and I wanted this to reference that number field, then I would be able to select it and change it here if I needed to. Okay. And then for, let's say, I could change it from a percent bar to a color indicator if I wanted to as well. So let's go look at status real quick, right? So a status configuration using the color indicator looks something like this. I chose a field, the status categories field, which is a choice field. It's got 4 choices in it: not started, awaiting someone else, in progress, and completed. And they have populated here when I select that field. And then I can choose the colors for those, or I could choose autofill colors, which is some defaults. Then we would hit update if we wanted to change anything about this, and go back, and when we viewed the list the next time, it would be all updated. So super simple, right? A very quick way to create new indicators and to modify them. So if I go look at the actual task list here, I'll refresh just to make sure. And I've got a very basic list here, so very rudimentary example, but maybe we've got a list of tasks we want to accomplish that contains some columns like a month due, the progress of this particular project, and maybe a status, right? So those configurations I just showed on the visual indicator configuration screen, this is the result of those. And so you may have, a real easy way here to just kind of plot that, give you some enhanced visualizations to your pages, and really drive a better user experience than just numbers, right? Excel spreadsheet style data spit into the screen. Yeah, so again, visual indicator, very visual. So I don't have a whole lot more to show on that. If you got any questions, please do let me know and we'll answer those. So just to move on and to keep going here, I'm going to get back through the slides and we'll just wrap this thing up. Contacting us. So maybe you're interested in testing this out. You'd like to install this on your environment, or you'd like to try it in one of our hosted environments that's got it already installed, configured, and set up, ready with content, free to test, etc. Well, you got two ways to do that. You can either go to our website and click the orange Contact Us link at the top right corner. Fill out this form, and you have two options down here. You either can set up a call with us, or you could say that you're just amazing at SharePoint already and you'd like a trial, a hosted trial. If you choose that and submit this form back, you'll have credentials to log into your very own site collection to test all of our products already installed and configured for 30 days. Yep, again, in your own isolated environment. So you're not mucking around in an environment with someone else also messing your data up. Second option is to go to the shop, our brand new shop at shop.bamboosolutions.com. And if you go there, there should be a button on each product page to get a 30-day trial of that product. Now, this product is sort of in preview at the moment, so I'm showing you something that hasn't actually been released yet. It should be coming out, I think, next week or the week after. So this is sort of a preview of that, but it is available for testing currently in our sandbox environment. So keep that in mind as you're kind of looking at trying this product out, or you're interested in acquiring more information about it. It should be releasing production very, very shortly. And that's really all I have today. That was super fast. It was 20 minutes. I really appreciate you all jumping on today. If you do have any questions, here's a bunch of links here on the screen. You can reach out to us, get more information. And should be some reference links there to the documentation, the shop, etc. I'm checking up here for any questions and answers coming through. Let's see if we got any chat. No, nothing going on. All right. So if you are more obliged or inclined to reach out privately, please do. You can reach us at sales@bamboosolutions.com. We'd love to hear from you. Again, if you'd just like to schedule a call with us to talk through something, maybe you've got some requirements and you're interested to know if this would even be a good match for your requirements, you can use our website form again to schedule that call with us. So Rob or myself can get in touch with you, spend 15 minutes with you, and kind of understand and talk through it. So it was a quick one, and we do these webinars every Thursday or so. Tammy, thank you too for jumping on. We do these webinars every Thursday-ish, so I'm doing about 2 a month right now, but this month we'll do 3. Next week on Thursday at noon, we'll be doing our Panda Talk, and I'm going to walk through what templatizing SharePoint sites and resources looks like now in the SharePoint modern world. Used to, we'd have this ability to, say we've got these project sites, and we could save one of them as a template and provision new sites based on that template, new project sites. That's not the case anymore in SharePoint Online. So the new modern approach uses a concept called site designs and site scripts. So we're going to do a quick Panda Talk, we call it, next Thursday at noon to go over that. And if you want to register for that, you should be getting an email early next week, or you can go to our website onto our events page and find a link there as well. I think that is it. Robert, thank you too. Appreciate you guys jumping on. Thanks for your time today. That is about all I've got. So if no one has any more questions, go ahead and reach out to us again. sales@bamboosolutions.com. We'll get back to you. Thanks again, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful Thursday. See you next Thursday.